Ladies and gentlemen, this is a huge win for free speech in Britain. A British judge has officially ruled that the right to criticise Islam, yes, to question and debate a belief system, is protected under British law. Patrick Lee has just won his employment tribunal, and this victory sends a clear message: freedom of expression is not negotiable.
You'll have to hang on with me here. I'm afraid this again will be quite long. It will be also very interesting to see if I get the usual mass of bots and trolls turning up to argue with something that they are incapable of understanding. So here's the thing. That ruling is not particularly outlandish, and it doesn't give anybody the right to be wildly Islamophobic. I haven't read too much into it because the problem is, of course, that it's been widely reported on all the right-wing news sites, and I really don't like going down there. I end up feeling dirty and sick because obviously... Anyway, so here's the thing. As far as I'm concerned, and most reasonable people that I know, in fact, everybody that I know on the progressive side of TikTok would agree with this. There is not a religion or an ideology on this planet that could not and should not be robustly criticised. And that's the same for Islam, the same for Christianity. When it turns into a problem and hate speech is when you look at somebody, this is happening with Muslims, you look at somebody and you judge their personal beliefs by the colour of their skin, which you cannot do, or you assume that everybody who is a Muslim is an extreme terrorist, which is what happens with figures like Sadiq Khan, who is a modern, relaxed, liberal Muslim. He's the mayor of London. You know, same with Mamdani in New York. These are modern, Western, liberal-thinking men who happen to be Muslim. And you move into hate speech territory and Islamophobia territory when, with no evidence whatsoever, you start saying things like, oh, they're all going to bring Sharia law here, when you have no concept what that is. Now, I don't think that that ruling will affect anything now. So if you're going around using your rampant loathing and hatred of brown people and your Islamophobia, which comes on the back of that, because you don't know what religion half of these people are, you just know they've got brown skin, nothing's going to change. So you're not going to get away with it on the back of that, and you never were. So here's the thing. If you are going to criticise a religion, which you should be able to do, then you need to be able to criticise the religion. And you can criticise people if they are harming other people by their negative adherence to the religion, for example. So a lot of Muslim churches and all the rest of it are very big on charity. Why would I criticise that? I will criticise you if you are using your adherence to any religion, because it happens in more than one, but Islam, to force your children to behave in a certain way, to restrict the movements of your wife. All of that, that is wrong. And just because you're a Muslim doesn't mean that you are doing that, but there are some Muslims who do that. And Islam as practiced in this country, for example, is miles away from Islam as practiced in places like Afghanistan. And sure, some Afghanis move here, and some of them want to practice that, although very few of them who want to practice that would move here in the first place. So let's be sensible here. You can't use that as an excuse. However, it is worth pointing out that we have imported in recent years two things from America. One of them is Islamophobia, and that really started to ramp up after 9/11. And it was a really good excuse because obviously America wanted to invade oil-rich countries, and they did that by pretending that just being Muslim was being terrorist or whatever. And they really wanted everybody to hate Muslims. And the second one is we are starting to inherit their right-wing Christian nationalism. And I would like to point you out that in America, now, Muslim neighbours here, I'm allowed to live my life. Sharia law, which everyone quotes, is only applicable to Muslims. I am not a Muslim. They don't want it to apply to me. But American Christian nationals are making laws and destroying laws on the back of their brand of Christianity that affect everybody. I don't know if you have noticed, but in America right now, there are calls from the Christian right to stop women voting. Why? Because they noticed that a lot of women, especially younger women, were voting for Democratic candidates. So their answer to that not appealing to the young female voter base, is just stop them voting. They have repealed the abortion laws, which affects women. They are very, very anti-women. They are Christo-fascists. And that we are importing. They are paying money for those people to come here. So, criticise religion all you like, please, but don't turn it into something against that. Okay? You criticise people for their individual actions, and you don't tar everybody with the same brush. And if you criticise a religion, you criticise the religion.